welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 1st March 2025. So before getting started, I want to make a small announcement, guys. So we in Rathod Science Academy, we are going to start a new batch for Prelims cum Mains Foundation. So this is a very important course, and if you want to clear your UPSC dream, then you can come and join us. And in this course, we are going to give you the classes for 9 to 11 months, including CSAT, ethics, and as well as essay, along with your GS. And there will be guidance from prelims, mains, till your interview. And next one here is the classes will be taken by expert faculty who is having experience. And one more thing here is I will be available in institute from morning to evening, so that if you have any doubt, you can come and you can directly talk to me. That facility will be not available anywhere. So use this opportunity, guys. And we are providing both on online and offline. So if you have any queries, you can call us on the number 8074765513. Okay, a new batch is going to be started very soon. So there is just 10 days of time for you guys to think and take the right decision. And I wish you a very all the best for you. And now let us see the first article. So if you see the title of this article, it says about avalanche. Title says 22 missing after avalanche hit BRO's project site. Okay, so there are two important keywords that you have to see. So first keyword is avalanche. First keyword is avalanche and second one is BRO. So where you will be studying about this avalanche? So there are two subjects there. You can see this topic. So first one is in your GS paper 1, we have geography. In geography, we have world geography and Indian geography, right? So when you are reading this world geography, you will be studying about rapid movements. In that movements, you can see about landslides, avalanche, etc. So there, you will be studying about this avalanche. Okay, I said where exactly this avalanche is fitting in your syllabus. And now I will tell you the dimensions. You have to see what is avalanche. And next you have to see what are the causes of this avalanche. And you have to see different types. And you have to see what are the measures can be taken to control the disaster. And next you have to see about from GS paper 3 point of view under environment and ecology. So why? Because due to this climate change also there is increasing of disasters like avalanche. So here you have to see how can we control climate change to control this avalanche. That is the thing that you have to see. And whenever avalanche is happening, so it is causing loss of life. So even in this title it says that 22 people are missing under this avalanche, right? So here you have to see this topic from one more subject, guys, that is GS paper 3 under disaster management. So in disaster management, normally you will be seeing about this disaster management cycle. So in this cycle, we will be seeing about 3 steps, that is pre-disaster steps. You have to see pre-disaster, and next one is during disaster and after disaster. Okay, pre-disaster, how can we focus on reducing of disasters like prevention steps, and during disaster we have to see about relief and as well as rescue, and post disaster or after disaster we have to see about rehabilitation and as well as reconstruction. So these will be the steps out there, and you have to see these steps which are specific to this avalanche. So these are the things that you have to see from avalanche. And now let us see about BRO. So BRO, what is this? Here you can say Broader Roads Organization. So BRO is nothing but Broader Road Organization. So actually this organization is responsible for developing of infrastructure projects across international borders. Okay, across international borders, whenever we want to go for developmental projects like railways or like roadways or any infrastructure projects, tunnels, etc., it will be taken care of. So here you have to see about some basic facts regarding this BRO, and even you have to see about what is the role and responsibility of this BRO, and you have to see even why this BRO has been established and what is the significance of this BRO. So if you see all these things, then your mains cum prelims things regarding this BRO will be done. And this is important from your subject called as GS paper 3 under economy. You will be studying about infrastructure, and apart from that, this BRO you will be studying from your GS paper 3 under internal security, and even from your GS paper 2 under international relations. So from all these subjects point of view, this BRO is important. I hope you got some idea like how you have to read this article, right? And now let us see the context. So if you see the context, it says that on Friday, a glacier avalanche, that means nothing but the ice which is present in that glacier had been fallen down suddenly. So a glacier avalanche led to the struck of 22 people in one BRO, that is Border Road Organization project, and where it is located in Uttarakhand, that is in Chamoli district. And here, if you see one important reason for this rapid movements, so whenever there is unstable geography, so as you all know that Uttarakhand comes under Himalayan states. So these Himalayas, they are unstable, right? Because of this plate movements. So this Indo-Australian plate, which had been moved towards northward and hit this Eurasian plate, and that led to the rise of these Himalayas. So this is tectonically very active. Okay, so because of these places, because of this tectonically active and wherever there is plate tectonics involved, so these are the regions which are very much vulnerable for this volcanoes, earthquakes, landslides, avalanches, etc. So that is one example. It is because of the geography of this Uttarakhand. Okay, and now here Indian Army and Indo-Tibetan border force, they had been mobilized for doing some rescue and relief operations in this region. So if you see some facts regarding this avalanche, it is a sudden rapid flow of snow or ice and as well as debris down the mountain or slope. Across the slope, what happened? It may be stones, it may be ice, it may be uh, uh, debris, anything which will come down because of gravity. So these rapid movements are happened or these are influenced because of gravity. You have to remember this point. And next one is it can be triggered by various factors. For example, heavy snowfall or rapid temperature changes or any human activity, etc. And if you see the types of avalanches, we have rock avalanches. In this rock avalanches, what happens? So rock segments will be coming down, and ice avalanches is nothing but ice will be coming from the glacier. So this ice avalanche which happened now. And next one is debris avalanche. That means nothing but unconsolidated material, stone, soil that will come down. So here now it is an example of ice avalanche. And now let us see what are the causes of this avalanche. As I said, because of weather conditions. So whenever there is heavy snowfall. So the reason now why this avalanche happened is because of heavy snowfall in this glacier region. And even rapid temperature changes whenever there is a very strong winds or strong rains that can cause avalanche. And this one is because of the slope. Whenever the slope is gentle, gentle means nothing but like this, there is a very less chance of having the avalanche. If the slope is like this, there will be very high chances. That means whenever there is increasing of steepness of slope, there is increased chance of getting avalanche. Whenever slope is gentle, then there will be less chances. Okay, and next one is snowpack condition. So whenever any structure and the stability of the snowpack, it also leads to this avalanche conditions. And this one is whenever we are going for human activity like skiers, mountaineers, snowmobilers, and whenever we are using that area for recreational activities or entertainment activities, then that will also trigger avalanche. And this one is because of some natural events like earthquakes, like volcanoes, rock falls, etc. they will also cause this avalanche. Okay, now what can be done for the mitigation? Can we predict when this avalanche will happen? No, no one can predict, and we don't have that technology for predicting of this avalanche. So because of this, whenever they are happening, so we have to at least try to estimate the hazard levels and checking of the snowpack, checking of the temperature, checking of the wind conditions, whether snowfall is high or low, and like that we can take some measures like building of walls, detention walls, rakes and some diversion structures, so that we can at least try to mitigate something. Okay, that's the thing. And even we can control this movement of peoples for sky areas or like for retirement, for gaming, for mountaineering, etc., so that we can decrease the loss. Okay, so these are the things that you have to see, and let us see the next topic. GDP grows 6.2 percentage on rising government consumer spending. So this article is talking about one keyword, that is GDP. So where you'll be studying about this GDP, guys? So GDP is nothing but gross domestic product. You'll be studying in your GS paper 3 under economy. So you have an important chapter in your economy called as national income. So in that national income, we'll be studying about different attributes of income, right? So in that, one important attribute is GDP, gross domestic product. So what is this GDP? GDP, it is nothing but total value. It is nothing but total value of final. You have to remember this word. Final goods and services in a country, that too within 1 year of time. That is called as GDP. And here you have to know about what this is NDP, what is this NNP, and you have to know about what is this factor cost. Okay, what is this factor cost? What is its market price? Okay, and even you have to know about depreciation. Depreciation is nothing but decreasing of value because of wear and tear. You have to know about that. And you have to know about accounting methods. So which methods we are using for calculating of GDP in India. So here we have three types of methods. So we have income method, we have expenditure method, and value added method. And you have to see which are the things they will be not added into our GDP, like second hand goods and even women who is doing care work or domestic work. So they are not accounted. Okay, you have to see which are the things they are not accounted in GDP. And you have to see about what are the alternative methods rather than using of GDP. We have human development index, like that you have to see some alternative methods that we can use for calculating of growth of the country. So all these things are very important, guys, and this topic is at most important from your prelims, and you can expect at least two questions from this national income in your prelims every year. Especially they will ask from this area, depreciation and this part, okay, formulas part. And you have to know taxes, indirect taxes and subsidies, so where they will be added, where they will be not added. So everything that should be very much clear, guys. And now let us see the next article. Title says ISRO's Aditya L1 mission captures first ever image of solar flare kernel. So here you can get a prelims question. Recently kernel is in news. What it is? It is a solar flare which is identified by Aditya L1 mission. You have to be very much careful with this terminologies. And even you have to know about what is a solar flare. And you have to know about what is this Aditya L1 mission. So let me write the keywords here. So first keyword is Aditya L1. And second one is solar flare. So from which subject you can see, guys? So actually this Aditya L1, it is mission of ISRO. And in this mission, ISRO wants to study sun. It is sun mission or solar mission. So this is important from your SNT. So in your GS paper 3 SNT, you will be studying about space technology. So in that space technology, you'll be studying about different kinds of orbits, different kinds of launch vehicles we have, and we will be studying about different kinds of missions of ISRO and as well as NASA. So there you can study about this Aditya L1. So what are the dimensions you have to see? You have to see about some basic facts regarding this Aditya L1. like when it was launched and which vehicle it is used and where it had been placed, why it had been placed only in that L1 position, and you have to know about what are these Lagrange points and how many Lagrange points are present. So we have 5, what are they, everything that you have to know. And next one here is in your geography in GS1, in world geography, you will be studying about universe topic. Universe, it is a basic thing that you have to read. It will be normally the first chapter of your geography. So in that first chapter of geography, you will be studying about structure of sun. So what is the topic? Structure of sun. So in this structure, you have to know important parts. So in that, one is solar flare. So you have to see all those things. Okay, and this topic is important from your mains, and especially you can use this as a case study in your essay also, and even you can expect prelims based question from this solar flares and as well as Aditya L1. Already UPSC asked question regarding solar flare in your prelims. Okay, now let us see this article. So actually from this Aditya L1 mission, it sent one image. So this image is about solar flare kernel by using what? Solar ultraviolet imaging telescope. By using this SUIT telescope, it sent the image. So you may get a question like recently SUIT, solar ultraviolet imaging telescope is in use. So it is related to which of the following mission? So it is related to which mission? Aditya L1. So in this way also you may get question and you have to be very much alert in your examination. Okay. So now let us see the details. So first point you have to remember is now from this Aditya L1 mission which captured solar flare kernel, and it is one of the monumental step in this heliophysics. Helio is nothing but it is related to sun. Okay, it is providing the first comprehensive image of solar flares in near ultraviolet spectrum, and this could lead to what? Better understanding. We can understand better about the solar eruptions now, and even we can understand what will be the impact of that solar flare on our Earth's magnetosphere, and even it is very much crucial for developing strategies to protect satellites and as well as power grids from solar storm. So this was the question in your prelims. So what is the impact of solar flares? So because of the solar flares or the winds that we are getting from the sun, it will be having impact on our magnetosphere, and it will be affecting or it will be attacking or it will be dismantling our satellites, and even what are the power grids are there, so they will be also get affected. So this was the question in your earlier. Okay, so whenever you are reading anything, try to see like what are the impacts, what are the applications. So impacts and applications are the favorite areas of UPSC where they will give the prelims question. So with my experience, I'm telling, I don't know whether you will take it on the positive side or negative side. It is up to you guys. Okay, and next one here is role of SUIT, that is Solar Ultraviolet Imaging Telescope. So this suit payload ability to capture detailed images. So by using this telescope, we can capture a very detailed images that is around 200 to 400 nanometer wavelength range, so that we can understand what is the phenomena which is happening in the sun. And next one here is whenever there is a solar flares, that is nothing but whenever the winds are coming from the sun, so it will also reveals about sun's atmosphere and as well as how this energy transfer mechanisms are happening during the solar flares. And I want to show you an image. So I hope this image is very clear, right? So this is sun, and if you go for the longitudinal section or transverse section of sun, inner part is called as core, very inner part. So in earth also, if you cut the earth, we have crust, mantle and core. So in the same way, the inner part of the sun is core. And around this core, we have zone called as radiative zone. You have to see from inner to outer and outer to inner. Inner is core, and above that we have radiative zone. And next one is convective zone. Convective zone, and above that we have photosphere. And above that we have chromosphere. That means outer chromosphere, photosphere, convective zone, radiative zone and core. Okay, and what are the winds are coming from here, that is called as flares or solar flares. And on the sun we will be seeing some black spots. You can see here those black spots are called as sunspot. Okay, so all these are very important, guys. So core, radiative zone, convective zone, photosphere, chromosphere. So now let us see each and everything in detail. So as you all know that in the internal structure of sun, so we have core, we have radiative zone, we have convective zone, and apart from that we have chromosphere, photosphere and corona. Okay, and what is this photosphere? Photosphere, it is extremely uneven bright outer layer of sun. Photosphere is outer layer of sun that emits most of the radiation, and the temperature is around 6000 degrees centigrade at this photosphere. And inside that we have chromosphere, and it's a very less thin layer of burning gases, and temperature is less compared to that of outer layer, that is 4320 degrees centigrade. And this one is sunspots. They are temporary phenomena. Normally they are dark color regions or spots which are present on the surface of the sun, and the temperature at this region is comparatively less, that is 500 to 1500 degrees centigrade. And solar wind is nothing but it is like the stream of energized charged particles. Primarily they will consist of electrons and as well as protons that will be coming from the sun surface, and the temperature is 1 million degrees centigrade, very hot. And next one is solar flares. They are the magnetic storms. They are appear to be very bright spot with a gaseous surface eruption. And actually a solar flare is pushed through the corona, and the heat is very high. It is around 10 to 20 million degrees centigrade. And this one is corona. Corona is a distinctive atmosphere of plasma that surround the sun and other celestial bodies. And if you see some facts regarding this Aditya L1, so it is a spacecraft mission to study sun, and it's a mission of ISRO. And we placed in Lagrange point 1, and normally we have Lagrange points 5. Okay. So if you see those Lagrange points, here we have sun and here we have Earth. So here we have L1, here we have L2 and here L3, and from here exactly at 60 degrees and here 60 degrees we have L4 and we have L5. So overall we have 5 Lagrange points, and we placed this at this location, L1 location. Okay, so that is the thing. And now if you see some basic facts regarding this Aditya L1, so Aditya L1 is India's third big extraterrestrial outing after Moon and Mars. It is for Sun, and around 400 kg spacecraft is sent to study the Sun. Okay, and this is, as I said, this is L1 position, and it is to orbit 15 million kilometers from the Earth, and when it launched in 2023 by using this PSLV. And actually this project had been sanctioned in the year 2008 itself. Okay, and it is focusing on sun's outer corona, magnetic field, solar winds, etc., and we got an image. So now let us see the next article. Delhi used less than 75% of COVID funds, says CAG report. So here we are not focusing on how much amount it spent, where it spent. So we are not at all bothered about that. But why we bother? Because the word which is given is CAG, C-A-G. C-A-G is nothing but Comptroller and Auditor General. So where you will be seeing this? In your polity. Okay. So what is the keyword? Keyword is CAG, Comptroller Auditor General. And where you will be studying? From GS paper 2 under polity. Okay. So here what are the dimensions you have to see? Just open your chapter of CAG and see about some basic facts. So what is the work of the CAG and what it does, and who are the members, so what are their powers and functions, so how they are appointed, what is the eligibility criteria, so everything that you have to see, what is the removal process. So if you see that, then your work is done, and there is a very high chance of getting prelims based question here. Okay, now let us see this article. So CAG is a constitutional body, and which article talks about it? Article 148. Article 148 of our Indian Constitution talks about this CAG. And this CAG is responsible for what? CAG is responsible for safeguarding public purse and as well as overseeing the financial system at both central and as well as state level. And even CAG, which upholds constitution and parliamentary laws in financial administration. And actually It is considered as one of the key pillars of our Indian democratic system, along with some other things like Supreme Court, Election Commission, UPSC, like that. So even CAC is one of the important key pillar of our Indian democratic system. Okay, so if you see the appointment appointed by the president under warrant under the hand and seal of president, and what is the tenure is 6 years or till age of 65, whichever it is earlier. Okay, and removal is possible by the president on the same grounds as how the Supreme Court judges are removed. In the same way, CAG will be removed, and even CAG can also resign to his post, and his resignation letter should be handed to president. These are some important things that you have to see. And now let us see the next article. Title says the necessity of mainstreaming wetland conservation. So this article is talking about one important keyword, that is wetlands. So where you will be seeing about this wetlands? So in GS paper 3 under environment and ecology, you will be studying about different types of ecosystems. So in that we will be reading about this wetland ecosystem. Wetland is nothing but the land which is mainly saturated with water. Okay, so that is called as wetland. Okay, so here what are the dimensions you have to see? You have to see what is a wetland. So what is the definition of wetland? And you have to see different types. For example, we have natural wetlands and as well as artificial wetlands. Okay, to give you some examples, natural wetlands are nothing but lakes or ponds or rivers, seas, oceans, etc. But what are the artificial? Artificial is nothing but we are creating a body. For example, rice. If you want to grow the rice or paddy, so we have to create an artificial wetland. So that here that area will be holding water for the long period of time. And even dam construction of dam, and even for aquaculture we will be creating small tanks like that. So all those are examples of wetlands, and in these wetlands we will be seeing the biodiversity, aquatic biodiversity is there, right? So here you have to see about which kind of biodiversity is present in these wetlands. And nowadays these wetlands are having a danger of pollution. So in the recent past we studied about Vembanan Lake, and especially in some other lakes, especially in the South India, they are having these problems, and there is decreasing of size of this wetlands and happening, encroachment is happening, especially animal waste is increasing in that. Okay, so like that you have to see what are the challenges faced by these wetlands in this present arena, and you can draw a map and you can locate some important wetlands where they are having problems. And for this conservation of wetlands we have one convention called as Ramsar Convention. So you have to see about what is that Ramsar Convention. So what are the guidelines of this, how can we conserve the wetlands, and you have to see how many Ramsar wetlands are there in India. How many Ramsar wetlands are there in India which are getting protection. So all these things that you have to see, guys. And now let us see what this article is talking about. So if you see context, it says that, so this article is saying that, yes, we have to give importance for wetland conservation, for sustainable development, especially there are some legal actions are taken in India, and they are focusing on monitoring of wetland conservation. So this article is saying that, yes, we need to take lot of steps for conserving of our wetlands. Wetlands are very important because there are lot of services which are provided by this wetlands. So now let us see the statistics, why we have to focus on monitoring of wetland conservation. So actually the wetland extent trends index, so you can write somewhere, that is wetland extent trends index, which indicates that there is a lossing of wetlands happening. So at what rate? At 0.78 percentage per year of loss of wetland is happening. That means we can understand that there is lossing of natural vegetation is happening. So because of this, we need to take some immediate steps for conservation of this wetlands. And next one here is, we are also having this Ramsar Convention which is focusing on wetland conservation across the globe. And not only that, even some other international environmental initiatives are also suggesting that what are the steps we are taking that is ineffective. So wetland conservation must be the part of holistic strategy now, and we have to take into account biodiversity, climate change, and sustainable development goals also. And next one here is nature-based solutions for urban areas. In urban areas also we are having wetlands, but these wetlands are mostly encroached, especially in Hyderabad. So especially Telangana state government came up with this mission called as Mission Hydra, where they want to rejuvenate these wetlands. So whatever the illegal construction they had been constructed through the encroachment of these wetlands, so they are demolished. So here we need to go for especially providing of nature-based solutions in these urban areas, and we have to go for providing of blue-green infrastructure, and even urban planning must incorporate wetland conservation as well. So this will enhance resilience of this against this climate change, and as well as we can maintain proper ecological functions. And even whenever there is a loss of wetlands, then what happens? So animals or biodiversity which is present in that region will be also getting extincted. So here there is also a risk of species extinction. So data which mainly shows that there is significant decline of wetland species population. So because of this we are going to have biodiversity crisis. So we have to prevent this irreversible loss in biodiversity as well. And next one here is this wetlands are very dynamic, because in summer season, if there is increasing of heat because of evaporation, amount of water will be decreased. Normally in this monsoon season or rainy season, so water will be coming and filling up in this lakes and this water, right? So here always these wetlands are not static. So these are the areas which are continuously changing. So because of this dynamic nature, we have to take some adaptive management strategies according to the change what is it happening. Okay, and we need to have effective management in India. Especially India has designated lot of sites under this Ramsar sites, and the limited area only we have like 8% of our wetlands are being listed under this Ramsar site. So we need to take proper effective management, and we have to comprehensively take some approach so that we can protect some vital ecosystems. Okay, so these are the some things that you have to remember. And these are the important topics that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper. So by this I'm concluding. Thank you so much guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this class. And one more thing is, don't forget about joining of this GS Foundation course either online or offline. And don't have a fear. We are going to give the classes only in this English itself. And do like this class and share this class, and don't forget to subscribe to Rathod Science Academy.